Everyone told me, save every dollar, build a bigger savings account. Never spend what you don't have. But the smartest person I ever knew looked at my bank account, shook her head, and said something I'll never forget. Your money is working harder for the bank than it is for you. I laughed. She didn't. 10 years later, I finally understood exactly what she meant, and it completely changed my life. In a quiet town outside Nashville, Tennessee, lived an elderly woman named Margaret Ellis. She wasn't rich. She didn't own expensive jewelry. She drove the same old pickup truck for nearly 20 years. Most people assumed she had never been successful, but they couldn't have been more wrong. Every Saturday morning, Margaret would wake before sunrise, not to relax, not to watch television. She walked to a small farmer's market with homemade jars of strawberry jam, fresh herbs, and vegetables she grew in her backyard. People smiled politely. Some even felt sorry for her. They thought, poor old lady, still working at her age. They never realized she wasn't working because she had to. She was building something. Her grandson, Ethan, 23 years old, fresh out of college, first real job. Every paycheck followed the exact same routine. Pay bills. Put whatever remained into savings. Repeat. He was proud every time his savings account grew. One afternoon he showed his grandmother. Look, I finally saved $10,000. He expected applause. Instead, Margaret quietly asked, how much did your money earn this year? Ethan checked the banking app. Almost nothing. She smiled gently. So who's getting richer? You or the bank? The next morning, Margaret took Ethan to an abandoned garage she owned on the edge of town. Dust covered everything, broken shelves, rusty tools, spiderwebs in every corner. This place looks worthless, Ethan said. Margaret nodded. Exactly. Most opportunities do. She handed him a notebook. Imagine, if you had $10,000, would you rather let it sleep or teach it to work? Instead of buying a new car, instead of leaving the money untouched. Ethan used part of his savings. They cleaned the garage, painted the walls, bought used woodworking tools. The first month, nothing happened. The second month, only 3 customers. Friends told him, you should have kept your money safe. For a moment, he believed they were right. Then disaster struck. A machine broke. An important customer canceled. Bills kept arriving. Ethan wanted to quit. I'm losing money. Margaret calmly placed a tiny apple seed on the table. What do you see? A seed? No. I see a tree. That hasn't grown yet. Ethan kept going. He started making custom wooden shelves, coffee tables, kitchen furniture. Customers loved the craftsmanship. Photos spread online. Orders doubled, then tripled. Soon, he hired his first employee, then a second. Within 3 years, the old abandoned garage had become one of the busiest custom furniture workshops in the county. The same neighbors who once laughed now waited months for his products. One evening, Ethan asked, Grandma, what made you think this would work? Margaret smiled. I never knew it would. I only knew one thing. Money sitting still slowly loses power. But money attached to skills, hard work, and good ideas creates opportunities. She pointed toward the workshop. That building isn't made of wood. It's made of decisions. Years later, after Margaret passed away, Ethan found an old handwritten note inside her notebook. It read, saving protects today. Investing builds tomorrow. But believing in yourself creates a future no bank can ever give you. Today. That note hangs on the wall inside his workshop, not to remind him how much money he has, but to remind him why it keeps growing. Money is a tool. If you lock it away forever, it slowly loses its strength. But when you combine money with knowledge, patience, and action, even a small beginning can build an extraordinary future. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe Soul Parables, and share it with someone who needs this reminder today.